The Presidential Enabling Business Council that oversees the Ease of Doing Business initiative in Nigeria ranks the Oil and Gas Free Zones Authority of Nigeria as the best agency of government on the implementation and compliance to the Ease of Doing Business policy in Nigeria. That's in 2018. The Oil and Gas Free Zones Authority achieved the feat in a survey and ranking 44 agencies that included various government ministries, parastatals, and departments. The Ease of Doing Business initiative was put in place through Executive Order 1 as a major pillar of government's economic recovery and growth plan. Joining me live from our Abuja studio to discuss this issue is the Managing Director, Chief Executive Officer, Oil and Gas Free Zones Authority of Nigeria, Mr. Umana Okon Umana. Thank you very much for joining us, Mr. Umana.
Thank you very much.
Now, let's start by understanding internal orders at the Oil and Gas Free Zones Authority and how they helped in getting recognition as best agency on the Ease of Doing Business initiative.
Thank you very much. I believe that from the outset, when I took over as Managing Director, we took a number of proactive steps which helped in repositioning the authority and getting the authority ready to implement Executive Order 001, which focuses on the promotion of transparency and efficiency in the business environment. One of the first major steps, of course, was to have a management retreat a few months after I took over as Managing Director. After that retreat, we were able to launch a roadmap for the agency, which specified a number of goals, one of which was to improve operational efficiency in our zones. And as you can see, that aligns well with Executive Order 001 on the promotion of transparency and efficiency in the business environment, including the free zones, of course. I believe that those steps put us on a solid platform to implement the order. And essentially, the order had a number of specific directives. The principal one required all agencies to publish a list of their products and services, including the terms and conditions that clients and applicants would have to fulfill if they were to obtain approvals for permits, for licenses. They were also to publish fees. They were to publish timelines for the delivery of the services and products. As you very well know, before the executive order was issued, and in fact, before the intervention of the President Muhammadu Buhari's administration, which instituted these reforms to improve the business environment. Doing business in Nigeria was quite tough for the private sector operators who had to struggle with bottlenecks and delays in getting approvals for business permits, for licenses and so on.
All right. Now, I want to ask you, as a follow-up now,
yes,
how will the authority sustain work processes to make this recognition relevant to development?
No, well, first and foremost, we implemented the order by updating our website, publishing the list of our requirements, of course, coming up also with our timelines. For example, it would take only 48 hours down for us to meet all operational requests in our free zones, especially requests that have to do with processing and clearing cargoes for our clients in the free zones. It would take only 14 days now to obtain a license. when all of the requirements have been met, as against months. Maybe in the past it would take 3-4 months. It would take only 3 days now to renew a license. So we took all of these steps, updated and upgraded our websites, and then met with other government agencies in the free zone, like the Nigerian Customs Service, the Nigerian Immigration Service, and came up with a service level agreement, which specified these timelines so that our clients will know what to expect. I must say we have faithfully implemented these commitments to our clients, and I believe that PEBEC, the Secretariat of the Presidential Enabling Business Environmental Council, they have a way of interfacing and getting feedback from our clients. So the faithful and implementation of our timelines and against the other structures we have put in place, including automating all of our processes, so that there's an interface electronically now between our operations departments, our finance departments, our PRS departments, and so on. All of this have combined to ensure that we provide efficient services for our clients.
All right, Mr. Okon, now enlighten us a bit on the mandate of your authority now, particularly in relation to local content policy in the oil and gas sector.
The mandate of my authority is to attract foreign direct investments into our free zones, and we do that by regulating and managing the zones, and by providing incentives which would attract foreign direct investments. Of these incentives range from fiscal incentives to customs incentives to immigration incentives. Some of the fiscal incentives include zero taxes, zero company tax, zero VAT, and exemptions from all forms of federal, state, and local government taxes, zero import duties, and then approvals for customs or immigration are all expedited. Our licensees or companies will not have to go anywhere else outside the free zone, because the free zone is like a one-stop shop facility. So all of the approvals can be obtained in one location. That again aligns very well with one of the planks of the directive of the East Executive Order 001, which has to do with one government. In other words, private sector operators or anybody looking for approval now from an agency, if you require documentation from other agencies, it will no longer be your responsibility to go to all those other agencies to bring either certification or to verify documents you have submitted. The agency that is responsible for granting approval, the main agency that you have submitted the documents to, it will be responsibility of that agency to reach out to all other government agencies to obtain those documents and then grant the approval. And it is no longer business as usual, because with the timeline provided, where an agency fails to grant an approval within the time frame specified and stated clearly on its website, then it will be deemed, especially when within that time frame you fail to give a reason for rejecting the application, it will be deemed that the approval had been given. So the whole idea then is that the process of granting approvals, obtaining approvals is expedited. So you can no longer have delays, because everybody knows what the rules are. If you don't grant the approval within the time frame, you must state the reasons, you must communicate to the parties concerned why the approvals have not been given.
Okay, now
So
let's look finally at let's know
yes.
the challenges. Let me come in here now, Mr. Mana. Let's know some of the challenges confronting
Yes.
your agency out there. Let's shed more light on that.
Thank you very much. I believe that we are confronted by challenges of infrastructure. A free zone like a free zone that is not connected to the national grid, it would mean that the cost of power to the companies in running the operations certainly would impact negatively on their balance sheets. And that is why we have also taken these necessary steps to ensure that we have an embedded power plants in our zones that will provide power that is cheap so that we can bring down the costs of doing business within the zones. There's also the challenges of how our zones are connected, either by road or by rail. At some point, on a free zone, the road leading to the free zone was virtually impassable. But again, we took steps, and I must thank sister agencies of government like the NDDC who helped when we wrote to them, who intervened. So that, again, has improved. But as I have always said, what we need is a more permanent solution because such a facility which houses over 100 companies from 45 countries, and in terms of quantum of investments in dollars, you know that is an asset and a facility that should be connected by maybe a 12-lane road and should be connected by rail, as is the practice outside Nigeria. So, but these are challenges that we're working to deal with over time. Already the federal government is proactive, and in the master plan, the rail master plan now, all of our ports, including the free zone and the ports in the free zone, will be connected by rail.
All right, the Chief Executive Officer, Oil and Gas Free Zones Authority of Nigeria, Mr. Okon, live from our Abuja studios. Thank you very much for talking to us on Business Nigeria.